Saying that black culture is just a black American thing is so offensive. I told myself I would not be involved in any more diaspora wars, and I was doing a good job. Guys. Okay, until now, because now I have to say something. Unfortunately, I have to talk. I have to speak. The conversation that's going on right now on TikTok is so divisive, but so harmful to the black community that morally I can't not say anything. Like, I have to say, like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't say anything, because people are so wrong and strong, and they don't understand how violent this conversation is that we're having on TikTok right now. So the conversation we're having on TikTok right now, which I don't know why we're having it, because it's nonsensical to me, but the conversation is we're talking about being black in America. So people are debating whether being black means just being black in America, as in black Americans equal black. So if you're not from America and you're black, you're not black. You are Nigerian if you're from Nigeria, or you're Jamaican if you're from Jamaica, etc. But if you're black in America, then you are just black. They're also talking about black culture, as in black culture is only black American culture. And this is so xenophobic, guys. It's just straight, we're just doing xenophobia debates. Like, it's so weird to me. The reason why it's xenophobic is because there is no such thing as just black culture in terms of it being just for Americans. There's no such thing as being black as in it being just for Americans. And if you believe that, you believe that Americans are more superior than the rest of diaspora, and you're being xenophobic. Let me break it down. Black is a race. So if you have melanated skin, you're black. Like me, I'm black and nerdy. We are black. If you are from Africa, if you're a descendant from sub-Saharan Africa, you have melanated skin, you are considered black. And in America, say you've got one drop of black in you, your mum's white, your dad's black, you are considered black. In the UK, you would be considered mixed race, biracial, etc. But whatever, you're black, you're black. Your descendants are from Africa, you got brown skin, you're from Africa, you're black. That's it. Black the race.
Next time, follow your intuition. You said you were going to stay out of it, and here you are again, clearly not knowing what the hell you're talking about. See, intellect maturity happens at different stages in each individual's lives. I just don't believe this person has reached theirs yet. And I believe this person has no idea what culture is, what the history of being called black. She has no idea. If she does, she clearly is not acknowledging it. See, at one time in history, black Americans were the only people calling themselves black. Everybody from the diaspora was shying away from that word. They were either Jamaican, Nigerian, or whatever, but they weren't black. So when we talk about black culture, we're talking about in the context of black American identity. No one's trying to say that you're not black. What are you getting that from? Of course you're black. You just never embraced it until now. It's only now that being black is more popular. It's the in thing to be. Not everybody wants to be black. The audacity to say that we're engaging in xenophobia when it's you guys who were told before they came over here, stay away from the black Americans. The black Americans are lazy. They're criminals. Come on, you're the guys that were engaging in xenophobia.
Now let's talk about black the culture. Saying that black culture is just a black American thing is so offensive and so wrong, because if you break down black culture in America is made up of black people from other diasporas. You couldn't have certain parts of black American culture if you decided to just take out everyone. If you said black American culture is only for people that were descendants of chattel slavery, it's only for black people that descend from people that came over on the boats into slavery and then built America. If that is all that black culture is, then you would exclude so many people that were a part of black culture that don't fit that bill. For example, Malcolm X, he's Grenadian. So according to you guys, he wouldn't fit the bill of black culture in America because his mum's Grenadian. And then you've got Sidney Poitier, I think he was the first black man to win an Oscar. He's Bahamian. And then you've got Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman in Congress in America. She's from Barbados. Like, at the end of the day, we, as in the Caribbean diaspora and the African diaspora, are all up in black American culture.
Now let's address this issue about culture. She clearly doesn't even understand the concept of culture. its basic definition is just basically customs, religion, food, language, right? Now, we would all agree that even within Africa, there are different cultures. And I dare to say that there are probably some Africans in one country who say, well, my culture is better than your culture. Or my culture is not as interesting, or your culture is not as interesting as my culture. Same thing in the Caribbean. There may be similarities, but there are going to be differences. The same is true for Black American culture. Black American culture is not a generic culture. Just because you happen to live in America, that somehow you could just impose yourself inside of it and claim it. It doesn't work that way. It's a culture that was exclusively developed and created by Black Americans. Let me give you an example. Let's take HBCUs, okay? Now, clearly, those were developed and created and maintained by Black American cultural identity. Let's take, for example, stepping, a tradition in most HBCUs. Now, I guarantee you there are people of the diaspora who are attending HBCUs, right, and participating in stepping, right? But their participation in no way negates the fact that it's still Black American culture. And so the argument that you're making that simply because you're present, that somehow doesn't make it our culture. It is still our culture. Now, this is a familiar tactic that the tether class will use. They'll take an iconic figure, like in this particular case, Malcolm X, and try to make him appear to be Caribbean. And they do that by using his mother's ancestry, who happens to be from Grenada. But here's the thing, she's half white. So why is that important? Why do we have to even know that? It has nothing to do with his identity. He was born to a Black American father. He is a Black American, socialized as a Black American. Eventually, he joined an institution, a foundational Black American institution called the Nation of Islam. Malcolm is Black American, nothing to do with the Caribbean. Now, with regards to Sidney Poitier, although he was born in America, I understand he was raised in the Bahamas, but he got his start in another Black American institution called the American Negro Theater of Harlem. All right, that's where he got his start, and he went on to become one of the most famous Black actors ever. But that would not have happened had he not been in America. That would not have happened if he didn't go into these Black American institutions that were created by Black Americans. So it has nothing to do with his personal identity. It has everything to do with the culture and the things that were set up by Black Americans in America. Okay, she brings up Shirley Chisholm. Now let's be clear. Shirley Chisholm's run for president was only made possible by the work and efforts of Black American leaders like Martin Luther King. The civil rights movement was a grassroots movement that was started by fearless, strong, resilient Black American freedom fighters. This movement wasn't a product of Caribbean resistance or leadership. This was a Black American thing. If there wasn't a civil rights movement, there is no Shirley Chisholm. And for note, Shirley Chisholm was born in America to Caribbean parents. So she's socialized as an American.
For example, Black British culture is made up of Caribbean people and African people, and it's not a bad thing. There is no such thing as Black British culture without African people and Caribbean people. And there is no such thing as Black American culture without African people and Caribbean people. The sooner you accept that we're all one and stop doing this whole America first, very white supremacist coded, white nationalist coded, xenophobic, weird dance that we're doing online right now, that's weird. That's weird. The sooner you realize that, like, we are all one and you can't separate us, unfortunately, because we are so embedded in the culture. Like, it's offensive to your friends and family as Black American people to say that culturally you're not Black because you're not from America. Huh? How have we gone backwards?
Now let's revisit what she said about culture. She said that Black American culture includes African, Caribbeans, in addition to Black Americans, right? She said that there is no Black American culture without those three groups. Her opinion is solely based on her belief that the presence of these African and Caribbean people in America automatically suggests that there's some kind of influence or impact on Black American culture. She goes on to say that Black British culture consists of Africans and Caribbean people in Britain. She leaves out Black Americans because, in reality, Black Americans weren't in Britain like that. But let's expose the hole in her argument. She is under the impression that if you are not present in a particular place, you don't have influence. She's clearly oblivious to the fact that Black American culture has had a major impact on Black British culture.
Whether we like to admit or not, yeah, we live in England, but most of our cultures, yeah, especially the Black British people, most of our culture is from America.
Yeah.
From America.
Yeah. It was always African American, so you guys were like the epitome of blackness. So everyone copied you, from Africa to Australia to wherever Black people were. The South Americans in Brazil, you name it, they all copied African Americans. So
right.
A lot of African Americans will see us now and think, "Oh, damn, there's black people over there," but then they see us acting like you and couldn't understand why we're acting like you. But what I just said is why. We had no other blueprint to who we were other than African Americans. So if you wore your hat a certain way, we copied it. If you wore your jeans a certain way, we copied it. If you spoke with a certain slang, we copied it.
Now, this is why this woman should just keep her mouth shut, because she doesn't know what she's talking about. We Black Americans are over here in America not even thinking about Black Brits like that. Yet our influence and impact on them is huge. That is what culture is, my sister. It's influence, impact, okay? You guys don't have that over here. Black American culture is the most influential culture on the planet. Don't forget that. That's not being xenophobic. It's just a fact. Now, with that being said, if you haven't already, subscribe. Definitely thumb up that video. Share this information. It's so important. Until the next time, peace.